Morning, y'all. Morning. How is everybody doing? It is, my God, it is the 1st of July. What is happening? How are we in July, you guys? How is this even a thing? I don't know. We got some crispy water, though, because I have a feeling this is going to be a long one. We're here for our wrap-up of July, and we read 15 books. You guys, 15 books. Also, shout out to me for keeping up with this thing. I think I told you guys I did a whole short on this, but I really thought that I was not going to keep up with this thing this year. This is the first year I've kept a physical reading log, and yeah, it's almost full sheet 1, and we're halfway through the year. I thought it would take me 2 sheets, and I was correct. I'm hoping it doesn't, well, it might take 3 sheets, who knows. But as of right now, we're on the road to fill 2 sheets, which is what I thought. And yeah, we are a lot of books in, 70-something books in for the year with this 15-book month, which shoots us to about 140, 150 books for the year. My goal is always 100. I don't up it from 100 for a few reasons we've talked about. I don't want to set myself up for failure, 1. 2, I never want to pressure myself to read more or read quicker. I know I can do 100 casually, like reading at my own pace and enjoying every single book. If I get way over 100, that is phenomenal. But I'm not going to say I need to read 150. I need to read 200 because I know my reading pace. I'm not thoroughly enjoying those books at that point. I'm not fully digesting them. If I read 20 to 30 books a month, I like to go to worlds and I like to live there for a while, okay? I have not been able to get out of Bascaith War College from Fourth Wing up here for a very long time since reading that book. From Blood and Ash has helped, as you guys know. I've talked about that book multiple times now. So Atlantia, which is the land, has helped. But we're pretty much still at the War College. Yeah. So I feel like when you're reading 20 plus books a month, you're not fully exploring that world and all of its possibilities, capabilities, and imaginations. That's just me. I think 15 is my max. I think 15 is a great max for me. This month was crazy as far as books. So let's jump into it. First book that I read this month, did I do a personal video on? No, it was in my what I read this week video when I wasn't feeling very well and I kind of lumped everything into one. I got hit really bad this year with I'm not sure if it's hay fever, if it's allergies, what it was, but we got hot a lot later in the year than we normally do here in Georgia. Normally in Georgia, we are hot by May. I didn't feel like that this year. I feel like we weren't in the 90s until mid-June. And it felt it. And when it finally did get hot in June, I was a mess. So we had some sick days this month. But the first book that I read this month was A Day of Fallen Night, which is that prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. It was a beautifully written book. It was my first letdown of the month, though, because as you guys know, if you go back and look at that other video where I talk more in depth about this book, it felt recycled. It did. It did not feel individual enough or original enough from Priory of the Orange Tree. It felt very much like Priory with different characters and different relationships. I don't know why. I know there's some people on TikTok who gobbled up Day of Fallen Night and loved it. maybe they didn't read Priory as quickly as I did, like in the same succinct, because I just read Priory in September, and now I've read Day of Fallen Night. Maybe they read Priory when it first came out, and then read Day of Fallen Night when it came out, which would have been like more like a couple of year gap. But to me, reading them closely together, it was a little rinse, recycle, repeat. That's just my personal opinion. I know it's the unpopular opinion. Did it make me not enjoy the book? No. I liked the characters. I love Samantha Shannon's characters. I like that she's not scared to go there with female characters. And yeah, I just really enjoy her writing. It just was lacking a little something unique for me. Also, Tanae from Priory of the Orange Tree is one of my favorite literary characters ever written. I love Tanae with a passion, and I did not find that character in Day of Fallen Night for me. So that possibly could have to do with it. The Queen was probably the closest in Day of Fallen Night to a heart-wrenching character for me, but it wasn't Tanae. It really was not Tanae. After Day of Fallen Night, I have my little thing here, because when you're 15 books in, you got to remember what order you read them in. After Day of Fallen Night, I was still on that Fourth Wing book lull, if you would. I was trying to find something to really get me into it. So we tried Serpent and the Wings of Night, right? That was a Carissa Broadbent that was advertised on TikTok as something to help you get out of your slump, your reading slump after Fourth Wing. And I will say I've read a couple of books that were advertised as that. Serpent and the Wings of Night was probably, I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite for getting me out of that slump in that same fantasy romance genre. It is essentially Vampire Hunger Games, is Serpent and the Wings of Night. I will read the second book. It is on my CBR. I will probably read it in July. But it wasn't like, I have to read this book right now. It just wasn't for me. So, yeah, that was Serpent and the Wings of Night. It was a pretty good fantasy romance. And there were others that I read this month that I liked better. We'll just say that. Malibu Rising dropped from the library for me. I had it about 6 months on hold. And it finally dropped, and I was expecting a book worthy of a 6-month wait, and it wasn't. It was okay. It was definitely my least favorite Taylor Jenkins read that I have read so far. I say that, but actually I think I liked Malibu Rising just a little bit more than I liked Daisy Jones and the Six. You guys know I did not love Daisy Jones and the Six. I felt like that was made to be a TV show because the songs in it needed to be heard. I am not the type of person that if you just write out song lyrics, I'm going to hear it in my head because I'm not a musical person, right? I am really great at picturing like worlds and things like that if you describe them to me in characters. But as far as music, like you can't just write pages after pages of song lyrics and expect me to kind of hear the song in my head. So that was meant to be a show, Daisy Jones and the Six. So that was my least favorite of the Taylor Jenkins Reid novels. So I'd say Malibu Rising is above that. Evelyn Hugo is still at the top for me. And I think those are the only 3 that I've read so far. I want to read Carrie Soto, but I haven't yet. So yeah, Malibu Rising was okay, but the hype did not get led up to, or the hype did not get met by the 6-month wait that I did for that book from the library. But one that did live up to the hype, and you're going to get a video this coming month while I'm on vacation. I'm going to record it and then set it to come up while I'm on vacation, is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. I also waited quite a few months for that book on hold at the library, and it was so freaking good. I do not want to go into it too much because I do want to do a really good, lengthy, awesome, in-depth review of it. But it was so freaking good. It was a rom-com, but it was so much more than that. It dealt with like family tragedy. It dealt with abusive relationships and what is considered abuse and what is not considered abuse. It was so freaking good. I loved The Flat Share so much. So I can't wait to do a review of it for next month. Just really dive into all of the different parts of this that made it an incredible rom-com because it wasn't singular. It was like an onion. It was multi-layered. There you go. A little Shrek reference for you this morning. Hang on a second. Just realized I forgot to drop my little chart in there. So I went ahead and did it there in the center of the video. You'll be able to follow along a little bit better now, hopefully. That is my 15 book chart for this month. I've been really bad about that. I think 1 month recently I completely forgot to put it even in there. So it's in there now. We did The Day of Fallen Night, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, Malibu Rising, The Flat Share, The Ledge. Okay. The Ledge was another one that was advertised to me on TikTok. After you read Fourth Wing, read this book because it has the same vibes. And this one lived up to the hype of that. I liked The Ledge a lot. I will say a little bit of critique, and there is a book 2 I have not read yet, or I don't think it's come out yet, but I'll read it when it comes out. I want to know more about The Ledge. Like, I really want to know more about the people on the ledge and all of that. I felt like she didn't spend enough time in that survivalist mode. I would have just liked to have chewed on that a little bit more. Give me more of what she would have to do to survive. Give me more of where she would find food. Give me more of that. But as a whole piece, I really liked The Ledge a lot. I really hope Homeboy isn't dead. If you've read The Ledge, then you know what I'm talking about. I really, really hope Homeboy isn't dead because I liked those two characters together, but he did apparently die at the end of book 1. We'll see where that goes, though, because I don't put it past fantasy writers to not be like, and he's immortal. Oh, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping for that, actually, for this case. Because I do like that character, and I hope he isn't dead. After The Ledge, we read Reckless. Reckless is in that Elsie Silvers series where it is like all based on this ranch. I keep wanting to say Crescent City, and that's not it. But I've read all of this series, and Reckless is the most recent to drop from this series. They're all good. Powerless, what are they called? Hold on, because I read them all in a row right here. Powerless, Flawless, and Heartless are the other books in that series. I read them all, gobbled them all up. They are wonderful. Reckless was just as freaking good. I really, really liked Reckless. I liked the older woman, slightly younger guy. There was just a lot of things I really liked in Reckless. Once again, a 5 out of 5 book for me. That one got 5 stars. I think every one of those Elsie Silvers books got 5 stars. In that particular series, I'm going to clarify, in that particular series, because I finished Reckless and I was like, ooh, Elsie Silvers has other series. Let me go ahead and try to read another book one from another one of her series. Off to the Races, I read, which is about like this horse racing family. No, wasn't for me. I didn't care about the characters. I think I gave that one a 3-star on Goodreads because I forced myself to finish that one. It's just that Heartless, Powerless, Reckless series for me, I think, with Elsie Silvers. I really like that series, and I tried to read something else by her, and it wasn't for me. So there you go. Sometimes it's not like just the author. Like, I'm not the type of person that can read every single thing an author writes and love it no matter what, because that's my favorite author. I am not like that. And you should know that by the Sarah J. Maas issues I have, which is I love Crescent City. I love A Court of Thorn and Roses. I cannot get into Throne of Glass. So yeah, I am not a author groupie at all. I am not scared to critique authors' works, even though I love another work of theirs. So there's that. Tried to read Off to the Races. It was a 3-star on Goodreads for me. It wasn't for me. I did finish it though. I have not DNF'd a book in a long time. Then we read The Song of Achilles. I read 2 books specifically for Pride Month this month. And I really loved The Song of Achilles. Like, I did not want that book to end, so much so that I made my husband watch Troy with me the following night after I finished the book, because I was like, I need to spend a little bit more time in Sparta. And, not Sparta. Why did I say Sparta? In Troy. Wow. It's Sparta. In Troy. So, yeah. That was a really, really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is essentially the telling of the story of Achilles and Patroclus with a twist. Probably a little bit more likely to what was going on than Troy. But if you're not scared of gay romance, then I highly recommend Song of Achilles. It is not graphic. So if you are like, I don't like a lot of smut in my gay romance, that's okay. This one, Song of Achilles, not graphic. Now, my other Pride read, which was The Queer Principles of Kit Webb, yeah, that one was graphic. I loved it so much, but it is smutty. And yeah, don't listen to it at full volume on Audible in your office at work, because you will get burned. You don't know when it's coming. Learned that one the hard way, but once again, loved The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. There is another book in that Little Highwaymen series, and I do plan to read it. Just because I really, really liked the writing in that one. What else do we have on here? Elantris, of course. I read Elantris before Lost Metal, which I also read this month. So those were my 2 Sanderson reads. I've been doing pretty good with, excuse me, like 1 Sanderson book at least a month here for a while. But I'm running out of them. So it will probably be Tress and then a big break on Sanderson. However, read both Elantris and Lost Metal this month. Really, really, really loved them. Now I've started, darn it. It's like this dry tickle. It really is like allergy related. But those are my 2 Sanderson reads. Loved both of those books. You could tell that Elantris was his first novel just because it drugged just a little bit for me, but that's okay. I'm sticking through it with my dude Sanderson. Flicker in the Dark was also incredible. Really, really liked that. It is a thriller about childhood trauma, essentially, and her father was arrested for being a serial killer when she was like 13, 14. And these types of deaths that are very similar are sitting in the profile as an adult. And she's like, could it be a copycat? Could it be that my dad wasn't guilty? We'll have to see. I believe I have a Flicker in the Dark review, though. So you can check that out. We are now up to the books that have me in a chokehold right now, which is the From Blood and Ash and Kingdom and Flesh and Fire. Those books are so good and everything that I needed to get me out of my slump with fantasy romance right now, because I love Castile. I have not felt this way about a series. Yes, I love Fourth Wing, and yes, I love Prior to the Orange Tree, and yes, I love Way of Kings, and Words of Radiance, holy moly. But a dark romance series that just made my heart like, I have not felt since I read ACOTAR, A Court of Thorn and Roses series. If you love A Court of Thorn and Roses, read The From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. So freaking good, dude. So freaking good. Poppy and Castile, I need artwork. So eventually, and this is an eventually, probably around the time my daughter goes to college, which is probably to some of you guys like, wow, that's forever. It's really only like 4 or 5 years away. So eventually, my work office is going to become my library. It is the first room when you walk into my home, and I am collecting literary artwork already and special bindings of books, and I want to get more of them. The Bookish Box puts out a beautiful cover of A Court of Thorn and Roses as well as From Blood and Ash, and I really want those. It's one of the reasons why I'm looking so hard for the fourth wing with the beautiful sprayed edges. I'm going to do a library in this room that is to my right, the first room when you walk into my home. And I will, if I'm still doing YouTube, take you all along on that journey in 5 years when I actually do that. But priority right now is master bathroom. So yeah, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire and From Blood and Ash are incredible. Poppy and Castile are epic love story. I love them so much. And then finally, the last and 15th book that I read this month is Love Theoretically, which is Ali Hazelwood. You guys know I love Ali Hazelwood. I read everything she puts out, so this was no excuse why I would not. Literally bought it the day that it came out because that is my girl. I love, love, love her STEM romances. This one did not disappoint at all. Fantastic characters. I am probably going to do an individual review on this one as well, just because I really want to delve into these characters. I just love Ali Hazelwood as far as her STEM females and how she writes them. They're physicists, they're scientists, they're biologists. They're so smart and so witty. Little socially awkward, sure. A little tropey, maybe. But as a STEM-based female over here, guess what? Sometimes we are fucking tropey. Sometimes we are all of the stigmas. I know I am. So, yeah, I love, 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 love Theoretically, just like I love all of the rest of Ali Hazelwood's books. And with that, 15 book roundup. Holy crap. So much good stuff in there. Some mediocre, but I'm going to give it a great month of reading because, wow, I have so many books I want to read next month. Okay, so I have an absolute butt ton of stuff. On my desk alone, I have the new Tessa Bailey, Unfortunately Yours. I still have this book that Among Oaks and Owls, Cheyenne bought me. I believe it's called Bluebird. It is a YA World War II novel. And I really want to read that. I have seen great reviews on it on TikTok. So that is on my desk physically. On my Kindle, I've got the third book from the From Blood and Ash series. I've got Role Playing, I think is what it's called. It was my free first read for this month, and it is about a couple who meet on like a World of Warcraft or a D&D server and don't meet in person, but only as their characters for a while. I really want to read that book. I have the new Joe Hart on my Kindle, and I really loved the other book of his that I read. So I really want to read that. It's about like a blogger, I think, whose family goes missing, and it somehow is related to her family vlogs. I don't know, but I really want to read that, but I think it's going to scare the shit out of me. But we're going to read it anyways, right? So, yeah, I've got so much stuff on my Kindle. Ooh, new Frida McFadden came out. Warden D or something like that? We're reading that because you know I love a quick Frida McFadden. So many books to read in July. I hope I get to all of them. I am also downloading a new game to my Switch for the month of July called Wildflowers. It is highly recommended by Among Oaks and Owls. And we're going to play that on the 9-hour plane ride. So yeah, so much going on. I'm going to have some travel vlogs. I do not know if I am vlogging my time in London. You will probably get a mini vlog like you did with Disney, where it was just a lot of pictures and a lot of me talking about the things that we did and some of my favorite things. But it will not be like play-by-play, me with the camera in front of my face the whole time, because my husband is not huge on the vlogging. He wants quality time. He wants us having conversation. And enjoying the moment, which I totally 100% get. This is not my job. Now, if I was getting paid to do this, y'all would be going to everything with me, but I'm not at that level on YouTube, so I'm not going to take up my vacation vlogging. But I will have so many pictures. I'm making a PowerPoint-esque thing for all of my photos for my family and friends. I may post it. Who knows? Because it could be fun, right? And I love you guys so much. So much content coming, but thank you so much for sticking it out with me. As always, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and just love reading. Come on, come join the reading pool. We're having a good time over here. I will see you guys on Monday.